Hey, it's me, Joe, from Joe's Sleep and Slim Down Journey, and I'm really excited to be here. Literally. I'm saying my name's Joe, but TV Mother Hen, she's given me a new name. I'm now So Joe, because in last week's video, we counted that I say so 91 times. Let's see if we're going to go higher or lower in this video. There's so many things because I've just got so much to think about, and yet I always have brain fog. I always forget my words. So you can help me now. Whenever I forget a word, just tell me in the comments what word I'm looking for, please. Also, thank you in the comments for the more pins on the map. The map is nearly done. So close to getting it finished. I've now added Julie from Australia. I've added Emma, Andy, Ali, and Marie Michelle, who are from the UK, and the beautifully named Churea, hope I'm saying it right, Churea from the US. They're going on the map as well. So if you want to be on the map, add your name in the comments below, just because I'm going to get it finished by the end of next week. So we should definitely have it available for next week. How's your week been? Have you all had a good week? I know Paul Dell is having a terrible week. He's got COVID at the moment. So let's send a virtual hug out there to Dell from my Mounjaro journey. He's really suffering, bless his heart. I'm just thinking now, my voice is a little bit croaky, so I'm just going to have some water. Trying to make sure I say the T's now in water, to make sure that those of us that are not from the Midlands understand what I'm trying to say. Okay, so that time of the video, we always go straight in with the NSVs. I've got 2 NSVs for this week. So the first one was I went to sleep clinic on Monday and met Kate there, Kate the physiologist. Remember I mentioned her in video 1, and I was telling her all about Colin. He's winking at me. You see now why I name him Colin, don't you? He's a cheeky fella. But yes, I was telling her all about Colin. But she was really, really impressed with my success with the CPAP machine. The fact that I've been wearing it 100% every night, without fail. I'm always wearing it because I adore it. Colin is my saviour. But also I like being 100% compliant. I'm a cook girl, I am. Where did that come from? What film is that from? I'm a cook girl, I am. I don't know where that came from. I'm sure it's in a film. If you let me know in the comments, that'd be brilliant. So that was my first non-scale victory. That they're definitely seeing improvement in the figures that they monitor. They've got all the data back at the hospital, and they've got all of the figures there to show that I am fully compliant. And more importantly, I'm definitely benefiting from the CPAP machine. As I say, I used to stop breathing 85 times an hour during sleep. Which meant that I wasn't really asleep. I was constantly waking up, gasping for air, and just struggling. The nights used to be terrible, but now they've gone right down to only 3 times an hour. I gasp for air, and I've got the mask on me, so Colin's there providing me with all the oxygen that I need. Which takes me nicely onto my second NSV. I had enough oxygen energy in me on Wednesday, and it was needed because I was buzzing with excitement. I was buzzing with excitement because I was Chris's first special guest on his new tea time live sessions that he runs on Wednesdays, and the hour with Chris and his viewers, it was brilliant. You say I was buzzing with energy and excitement before we even did the live session, but then afterwards I was just glowing with just enjoyment. It was so much fun. So you've definitely got to go and watch my video, my tea time with Chris. But please subscribe to the channel because there's going to be so many other great YouTubers that he's going to be chatting with over the next few weeks. I cannot wait. I really cannot wait. So thank you, Chris, for inviting me and letting me just enjoy your audience for a while. Speaking of the audiences, you know I love my audience. I call the audience. It's a community, isn't it? Let's get real. We are a community. We're friends now. I love it. I was chatting with Shell. Now, Shell, remember, Shell's the one who decided that the cane could be called Michael, and we all agreed that he's now Michael. But Shell has her own channel. She does Slimming World, so she doesn't do Mounjaro. She's doing Slimming World, but she finds some amazing foods to eat. So if you wanted to follow a particular diet plan, you could try Slimming World, and she finds some amazing foods to eat. But one thing we were chatting about in her chat below her latest video was the mighty mushy pea, and Shell agrees that she is a connoisseur of the mighty mushy pea, and she has mushy peas after every weekly weigh-in. But she doesn't have chips with it. She's doing very well there. She has, I think she said cauliflower rice. Go and watch her video. She'll tell you all about it, and she'll also tell you about her newfound love of a special pot noodle range that's going on. So again, please watch out for Shell's video there. I love mushy peas. Anyone who knows me knows I love mushy peas. I used to do an annual Christmas poem, and Marlamo's mushy peas would always get in there because mum, every year without fail, she makes sure that there's mushy peas on the Christmas dinner plate, just for, well, not just for me, but the family know let me have it first. Oh, our mum's great. Speaking of mums, Ali and her mum Jeanette, they're off to see Strictly this weekend in Thoresby, I think it is. So, hi Jeanette. I've known Ali for over 25 years, which means I've known Jeanette for over 25 years. She's a wonderful mum. So, I hope you two have a brilliant weekend and enjoy the Strictly night. Um, I don't know if you noticed my t shirt. It's Pride Month. It's June, Pride Month in the UK. So every week I'm hoping to wear one of my Pride t-shirts. As you can see, this one is a unicorn riding a T-Rex. Um, as you say, they're off to the party. You will see me try and fit. I've got plenty of these. I'm not sure which ones I'm fitting in. I'm noticing this one's rolling up. I'm not sure if you can see it. Keeps rolling up when I sit down. But I love the community. I love how welcoming and we are, and I love the fact that we include everybody. So everyone is welcome in this community, and really we're celebrating the fact that we're allies to the LGBTQIA plus communities as well. So enjoy Pride this month. Have a fantastic time, and hopefully we have more to chat about that over the week and over the month. But the thing that I do have to chat about is the results from my 3 day fast. So yes, remember last week I was saying I'd started the fast on Thursday. I had my last meal at 5 p.m. on Thursday. And I went all the way through until Sunday, where I had curried chicken, because again I'd been watching Shell's video and she got some great curry spices that she's been buying. So I had curry chicken on Sunday. Um, and I did my weigh-in. Now I had lost £3 on my 3 day fast. For me, I mean, £3 is brilliant anyway. But I'm not going to celebrate that because that's not why I do the fast. The reason why I do the fast, especially the extended fast, is because it's for therapeutic reasons. Remember, I mentioned autophagy last week, and an autophagy, it's a Greek word, means self-eating. And what it is these great big self-eating cells that that take away, they eat, they digest, and they recycle old damaged cells. So, cells like fat cells that have now emptied out. So if you do autophagy, that fat cell's not sitting there waiting to be filled up again. It gets eaten up. Um, Cells with broken collagen. So, the skin, I'm hoping, and again, I've got my t-shirt on today. We can see my bingo wings, but we don't want them getting any more baggier than this. So let's keep an eye. We'll do wing watch. Every time I've got a t-shirt on, let's do wing watch and see if my wings become baggier than this. Honestly, I'm so glad I don't script these anymore. Half of this stuff would be out. Wing watch. Okay, so let me get back to autophagy. And remember, I mentioned things like colds and flus and things. You know, once you've had a virus, that virus sticks around and it gets absorbed into the cells. So, can you remember back in probably in the early 2000s, we were doing detoxes? I think detox is just another phrase for like a 3 day fast. And when I say my fast, I don't do a dry fast, which is you don't you don't even brush your teeth on a dry fast. And I don't do a water fast only where only you're able to drink water. I, in fact, do a fiber fast. And the reason why I do that is because I've still got all of this medication that I need to take. And you can't take medication on an empty stomach. In fact, I have spoken to my healthcare providers before I've done a fast. And after I did a 7 day fast. And after the 7 days, on the seventh day, sorry, I was in and took the bloods from me. If I can find the results, I'll put it up here. If I can't, then I'm pointing at nothing. But definitely my healthcare providers are involved in my fasts as well. So if you're interested in doing a therapeutic fast, definitely make sure you speak to your healthcare provider, especially if you have things like type 1 or type 2 diabetes, because of course, if you're not eating, then your blood sugar levels may get dangerously low. So make sure you do the fast with your healthcare provider's support. Um, Again, Dr. Jason Fung, I come to him for so much of my knowledge about fasting, but he's so much more knowledgeable and he explains it better than, like the Pac-Man that I've got on my videos. He took so much more scientifically, but clinically as well. So check out this video where he's talking about fasting strategies and the many different kinds. I do fiber fast where I could drink as much water as I like. I always take my fibrous supplements, and I will have fibrous foods up to, but definitely no more than 200 calories a day. So things like cucumber, a bit of green lettuce. I eat Sarah. I used to work with Sarah. Sarah's over in Boston in the States. She will know this. We eat packets of rocket or arugula. Is that how you say it in the States, Sarah? We eat that like we're eating a packet of chips or a packet of crisps. It's a lovely snack. If you could do that with iceberg lettuce, even more better because then you get the crunch as well. So that's how I do my fast. And seriously, I've done a 10 day fast before, which was fantastic. And I've done a couple of 7 day fasts, but mainly now I just do 3 day fast once a month. And the reason why I do 3 day is because on day three, day well, by day two, even before Mounjaro, by day two, there's there's no hunger anymore. The I'm not sure which hunger hormone. Um, is it ghrelin? I'm not sure if that's the one. If you know which one I'm on about, please pop it in the chat. Um, that just seems to exacerbate, not exacerbate, it seems to, it makes sure it controls your hunger. So you don't feel hungry after day two, even when you're not on a Mounjaro or this kind of medication, a GLP-1 medication. But by day three, you wake up, you are literally bouncing out of bed like Tigger the Tiger or the Energizer Bunny, because your body starts ramping up saying, you need energy. So where does it get it from? It gets it from your fat stores. Dr. Joseph Fung again, I love the way he explains it. He says the two compartment model. You may have a refrigerator and you may have a freezer. So you've got food that you eat and you always tend to go to the refrigerator to get the food first. And then you've got food for storage that's kept in the freezers. Well, think about the refrigerator as like the food that you eat. So whenever the body needs energy, it goes to the fridge. We call it the fridge in the UK. It goes to the fridge, decides what it wants to eat. You take it on board, you're eating it, it gets its energy from there. This is why we always stay fat, especially if you're doing this eating 6 days, 6 times a day. Your body is just only going to the dietary food that you're eating, unless you're doing less calories, at which point then it says, I need to go to the freezer. But here's the thing, if you are insulin resistant, if you've got a neck that looks like mine, where it's got this brown velvety ring around it, or if you've got type 2 diabetes, you almost certainly have a high level of insulin resistance. If you've got PCOS, or many of you fellas, if you've got enlarged prostates, if you've got skin tags around here or under your armpits or under your knees, chances are you're insulin resistant. Here's the thing, if you've got that freezer, someone's on guard saying, no, you're not going to the freezer, you cannot get in. So what does it do? Well, your body needs energy. Well, then the body says, we need to stop expending so much energy. And that's where you feel really tired, you feel really lethargic, headaches, and all of those things, feeling really cold. That's a really interesting point. If you've got the guard that's on call on the fat stores. The beauty of fasting is that regardless of what plan you're on, the point is you're not eating. You're not eating enough for the guard to be activated. So that means that you've not eaten anything there's nothing in the fridge. So then the body goes over to the fat stores. Now, I am 140 pounds overweight. There's 3,500 calories in each pound of weight. How many calories have I got in my freezer? Think about it. That is why on day 3 of fasting, you wake up feeling like the Energizer Bunny. You've got so much energy because you're now getting it from this store, not this store, the what you're eating. Again, speak to your healthcare provider on this. There's lots of different ways you could do fasting. I would say to you, never start, if you're going to do intermittent fasting, never start by trying to do one meal a day like I do. Start from a fast of 12 hours. Now, this is the really important part of a fast. It's not about having just 2 meals a day, for example, and skipping meals. That's not what you do. If your body knows that it's getting, if it needs 1,400 calories, that's what we're doing if we're dieting, 1,400 calories, say, you have to eat 1,400 calories, whether you're eating one meal a day, 2 meals a day, or you're eating in a food window. So those food windows are, let's say you enjoy breakfast. So you have breakfast at 7 o'clock in the morning, and you have lunch at 5 o'clock in the morning. Have lunch at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So is that 5 hours? Again, we know my maths is poor. 5 or 6 hours. You may then say, I'm not going to have an evening meal. So you're having the 2 meals. But from 1 p.m. or let's say 2 p.m., let's give your body time to actually enjoy the food that you're eating. So from 2 p.m. all the way through until 7 a.m. again, your body's in a fasting state. And autophagy doesn't kick in until 12 hours. So that's why whatever intermittent fasting plan you're going to be doing, make sure that you've got a fast of at least 12 hours. And some people do where, remember we've talked about 7 and 1 o'clock, they're not having 2 meals, they're eating the 6 grazing meals, 6 little meals up to 1,400 calories between 7 a.m. and 1 p.m. that's how intermittent fasting works. Here's Miss Mary. She wants to tell you a little bit more. No more about intermittent fasting. Poor Miss Mary, she's still over grooming herself. That's why she's got the sunshine collar on. I'm not going to sing again about she being my sunshine. We all know she is. So how did I do? Well, I lost £3 doing the 3-day fast. In total this week, I've lost 2.2 kilos, which is £5. So I'm really happy with that. Really happy with that. But remember, intermittent. The reason why I fast, it's not about losing weight. For me, it's about making sure that when my body is recycling those old cells, because that's what it does, it recycles the old cells. Once it's eaten those, recycles those into new cells. So that's why I'm hoping my wing watch, bingo wings, that will actually start becoming new cells, and therefore this should improve, or at least certainly not get worse. Again, if you're trying fasting, another thing, if you're fasting, I did say I was going to stop talking about fasting. Miss Mary is actually, I don't know, what do you want to talk about? I know what she wants to do. She wants to go to sleep. She always goes to sleep on my chest. But yes, one more thing about intermittent fasting before I move on. If you're doing it, you're listening to your body, and that's what we're doing on Mounjaro. We're listening to our body and learning better ways to manage our weight, and make sure that we eat to live, so that we're trying to make sure that we can start managing things like our food addictions or food traumas, or whether we've got comfort eating or emotional eating. So it's important we listen to our bodies. However, if you're on a fast and suddenly your brain starts to stress out, maybe it starts to say, oh, I'm thinking about all the food that's out there. That's the thing that used to happen when we do dieting. The moment we used to start dieting, the food noise would come through. Or, if you start worrying about, maybe, am I doing this for the right reason or not? The moment your brain starts thinking that, I want you to stop the fast. Because the whole point of it is we're listening to our bodies. And if you can't currently hear your body, you're only hearing your brain, then don't worry about fasting that week. Try fasting another week. Because the more importantly, stressing out, it starts to build cortisol. And cortisol is your body's worst enemy if you're trying to lose weight and, just take care of your health. So, again, what's his phrase? Ali, I saw it on one of his videos the other day. Perfection, no, progress over perfection. Ali, have I said it right? If I'm not, please let me know in the chat. But it's about, we're not trying to get 100% compliance every time. That's not what we're doing on this journey. We'll never really reach 100% every time. So, as you say, progress over perfection, learn the lesson, and then when you try it the next week, let's see how you do. Actually, I've got some more great quotes. There was a great quote that Alan Spicer said the other day. He said, if you don't celebrate your wins, you will constantly feel like a loser. And again, that just resonated. I'm always all about the non-scale victories, but we always look for the positives, the great things that are happening along the journey. We're not just looking at the scale. The thing I always say, and Ali, you'll know this, I always say this to you. This is my friend Ali, not Ali up in Scotland. You're not walking around like Flavor Flav with a big gold chain on you, but instead of that clock, you've got your bathroom scales. That's not how you're walking around through life. So no one knows what's on the scales. So why do you put so much energy into what's happening on the scales? Whereas if you're going around and you're eating better, your lifestyle, your activities are increasing. People, you're walking around and people are noticing, and they tell you you look great. And again, I love the community. The community is so good at telling each other how well we're doing. So that's brilliant. We don't we're not interested in being losers. In fact, another great, I watched Twan's video the other day. She had her two grandchildren with her, and they were doing an exercise challenge. And her granddaughter, my life, she is so beautiful. Her granddaughter started the push-up challenge, and she hadn't beaten her brother. So she said, "Oh, I'm losing. I'm going to lose anyway." And Twan, the grandmother that we all want, she said, "Baby, don't ever call yourself a loser. You were never a loser. You tried." And that's what we're all doing on this journey. So let let's just keep trying. Let's just keep doing. Let's keep celebrating our wins. I'm now going off to wash my hands and get my injection. Oh, before I do, that on the that box there, I've not unpacked it yet. I'm not sure if I'll ever be able to do those unpacking videos. We know my Raynaud's makes my hands clumsy, so I'm not even going to bother trying to do an unpacking video. But in there are two, yes, two 7.5 mg pens. I am still microdosing 2.5 mg twice a week and really enjoying it. So I think I'm going to stay doing 2.5 a week. But now I know how to do the count. And if you've not seen Gordon's video, again, I'll put the link up here. No, I won't. I'm putting the thing up here, the thumbnail up here. All the links are going to be in the description. If you've not been watching Gordon's videos, he's got a brilliant click count calculator. So you don't need to watch somebody tell you how to get to half or 7.5 or 2.5, whatever it is on their pens. He's got a calculator, just a list of the clicks for whatever pen and however much dose you want out of it. So check that out. I'm hoping by buying two 7.5 mg pens, I'm going to save some money. That's the plan. My pharmacist, I'm with Flow Clinic. So if you want a discount code, just have a look in my description again. Right, I'm off. Let me go and get my pen. I've just moved the mic because we know how clumsy I am. I don't want to keep tapping the mic whenever I'm trying to do something. So first of all then, let me get my pen. So I'm currently on the 5 mg pen, but I'm only taking 2.5 mg dose from this pen. Just got a touch of hiccups. Oh, that's another thing that I need to confess to. No, it's not a confession because I don't need to feel guilty about it. Yesterday, I did my measurements. Did my measurements yesterday. I thought, great, fantastic, Lars, this is brilliant. And then started seeing Mounjaro's Tea Time Live, celebrating how great that came out. Because I didn't have a tripod to hold my phone. So I was having to hold it the whole time in my hands. And again, we've just been talking about how clumsy I am with my hands. So you can see that it moves like that, but it wasn't as bad as I thought it was. Again, the whole interview was great. So please go and check that out. So I was celebrating, and we know what I do when I celebrate. I treat myself. So got to get out of this habit because emotional eating is not a great thing. What I treat myself with, Alan Spicer, I'm blaming you. You mentioned kebab in your latest video. And I've not had kebab out of my mind. Actually, maybe that's suppression. Maybe the suppression isn't so great anymore. I'm going to change my thing from Friday Monday to Friday and Tuesday. That might help. So anyway, I had kebab and chips, but get this. Can you remember a couple of weeks ago I had the nahari and it gave me rice and bread? threw the rice and bread out. This time, although I was really, really excited about the kebab, it was all about the chip shop chips. So what I decided was I was going to eat as many of the chips that I could handle, and then afterwards, if I could have a little bit of kebab meat, happy days. But if not, I was going to save that for today's meal. So I've got doner kebab meat in the fridge. I think that's why I remembered, because I've just got this out of the fridge. Too much information. Anyway, so I'm going to take 2.5 from the 5 mg pen. The first thing I need to do is prep the pen. So I get the alcohol wipe and I swab the red seal, clean that down, and I also use the same swab for my injection site. Today I'm going to be doing it on my belly. I then get a needle and attach the needle, take off the first cap, take off the second cap, and then I prep the pen by going to 2 for the dash, 2 clicks onto the dash, and then I press the pen for 5 seconds. We can see a little bubble of the dose coming out. Do that whenever you see, oh, that one got it. I saw an oxygen bubble. So I needed to do that. I'm going to put the cap back on again just while I get to the 30 clicks mark. Can you remember last week I marked it on my pen? 30 clicks. That means I'll get half a dose. So half a 5 meg dose is 2.5. We know this. So take the needle off again. Insert the needle into yourself. It's in. Now let me try and press the pen with my Maynards. Hold it in there for 10 seconds. Take it out. Well, the needle's not bent. I'm not bleeding. If you're bleeding, all you do is you just press a little bit of cotton or a little bit of tissue or something, just to stop the bleeding. I've only had 2 instances where I bled, but again, they were entirely my fault. It was something to do with the way that I was holding the needle. So please do not fear the needle. You can't feel it. You cannot feel the needle. It's as long and as thick as an eyelash. So then you take the needle off and place it in your sharps bin. That's it from me today. Oh, one last thing I wanted to say. I maybe I've got a third NSV. You have never seen anything as wondrous as a baby on roller skates. Remember I mentioned last week it was Alex's birthday. So it was Alex's birthday on Monday. He was 10 years old. And that weekend, they went out, friends and family went out, not ice skating, they went roller skating. Well, 14-month-old Kairo, he did not want to miss a thing. He never does. Sure enough, they have baby skates for babies. Well, obviously not baby skates for cats. and on that note, please share any other suggestions of who might wear baby skates in the comments below. No, please share with us the NSVs, your NSVs for this week. I love hearing from you all. There was both Carrie and Emma were having good old chats with me about my jumpsuit. Emma very rightly pointed out I've only got a couple more weeks of being able to fit into that black jumpsuit from last week because it's going to be too big for me soon. So have a fantastic week. So sleep well, slim down, and I'll see you next week.